Hi everyone, this is Robin, the Sudoku guy with newsletter number 5. Here we're going to be showing you all kinds of little tricks and techniques, and I think the best thing to do is to get started straight away. First of all, you may see something that stands right out at you. Let's assume that you didn't see something, and we'll start in the normal procedure. First of all, let's start with the horizontal blocks. With the 1. There's only one 1, but let me show you a little trick here. If I look at this block here, we know we can't have a 1 in those 3 cells, but we could have a 1 in these 2 cells. However, when I do that and I look down, I notice that there's a 1 here, so that cancels out this little 1, leaving this is the only place a 1 can go, so we can put that 1 in. Now, having done that, what about the ramifications? Are there any ramifications? Yes, there is. If I go 1, 1, these 2 little cells here can have little numbers. 2 cells can have little numbers. So there's the ramification straight off. Now, because we put this 1 here, we now have 2 1s, a middle and a bottom. We can put 1s up in here as well. Moving right along, 2s. Well, there are 2 2s, a top and a bottom, so this block has to have a 2 in here and here. Looking down, there are no 2s, so we'll leave them as small 2s. 3s, there are no 3s. 4s, there are 2 4s. We have a middle and a top, so therefore it has to be in this block on the bottom, so we'll have a 4 there and a 4 there. Look down, there's no 4 there. Look down, there's no 4 there. Leave it as small numbers. 5s, we have 2 5s, a bottom and a top. So in this block in the middle here, the 5 will have to be in the middle. Now if it can be there or there, but if I look down, I see here there's a 5, so it can't be there. We definitely goes there. Now I wonder if there's a ramification of that. Let's look. Yes, there is. If I look down, we notice that there's a 5 here on the right, a 5 here on the center. So in this middle block, the 5 has to be on the left. Now there's a 5 already here, so that makes this a 5. Now I could have solved that also by doing the cross technique, where we're looking at vertical and horizontal rows and columns that either intersect or meet. And in this particular case, if I take this 5 and go up through this block here, those are taken up, can't be there. Take this 5 and go down, they can't be taken up. Take this 5 and go across, they can't be taken up, so therefore that's the only place a 5 can go. I wonder if there's any other ramifications of that. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Now we've got this 5 here, I've suddenly noticed that. And you may have noticed that before we even started the puzzle. So what that does is this, watch. That makes this a 5. Why there? Because over here we've got that 5. If that is the case, this 1 becomes a real 1. And therefore, we can't have a 1 there because of that 1, so in this place here, this 1 and this 1, using the cross technique, that's the only places a 1 can go, so we put 2 little 1s in there, and that leads to 3 little 1s over here. Now let's go back to the 5 that we just put in. There's this 5, yes, we have a left here, we have a right there, therefore a 5 can go there or there. It cannot go there because of this 5, so therefore it has to go there. Look at all the ramifications just because we got that 1 5. Unbelievable. Okay, now we were up to 5, let's go to 6 up here and here. 6, many spots, leave it. 7s, there are no 7s. 8s, there are many places an 8 can go, so leave that. 9, same story, so let's now do the middle blocks, horizontal. 1s. Here is an interesting situation where I'm looking not just at TMB and LCR, but I'm also looking at other techniques such as the cross technique. If I take this one and go across, and I take that one and go down in this block here, that means that the only place one can go in this block is there and there. That one blocks out those two, and this one blocks out these two. The one can go there and there. Now that's going to be important, because what it does is that it lets us find out down in here what we can do. If it's a right, and we know a 1 is going to be in the center, on the left here we have to have a 1. We can't have it there. We can't have it there because of those ones, because of the rule of exclusion. So therefore this becomes the 1, this one here, and we're really making some progress. Now let's go on to, in this section here, 2s. No 2s. 3s. Here's something I want to point out. In this puzzle, the only place you'll find 3s is on these horizontal blocks. A 3, 3 and a 3. Nowhere else do you find a 3. And when you've got that situation, you cannot do any of the technique called cross technique, because there's nothing to cross with them. So that's something to keep in mind. If you see that, don't waste time looking for cross technique. Just continue on. Okay, 4s. There are no 4s there. 5s. The 5s are already there. 6s. We have 2 6s. Middle, top. Here it needs to be on the bottom, but there is a 6 up in here. So this becomes a small 6 and a small 6, because there's no 6s here and here. 7s. Well, you know, I have just noticed here we can use the cross technique to find a 7 in this block, and small 7's over in here probably. So let's have a look. If I take that 7 and go that way, we can't have a 7 there or there. If I take this 7 and go up and cross those cannot be a 7. There's only one cell, which is this one, left where a 7 can go, so we can put that 7 in. Now let's look at the ramifications, and I want to point out something here that I often miss out, and you may do so as well. That is, when you do a ramification, look in both directions, vertically and horizontally. Let's do the vertical first. This 7, middle, the center, right, left. So we can have a little 7 there and a little 7 there. Now let's go this way. 7, middle, bottom, top. Well, there's a 7 down here, so we can have a 7 over here and a 7 over there. Okay, very good. Let's go to 8. We were doing 7s, 8. 8 can go in many spots, so I'm going to leave it. 9, there are no 9s in the middle section here. Now we'll do the bottom set of horizontal blocks. Let's do the 1s. Well, we know a 1 is going to be somewhere up in here. Doesn't help us up in this direction. 2, there are no 2s. Leave it. 3, there are no 3s. Remember, they're all up in here. 4s. Yes, we can put a 4 in. Here's a middle. There's a top. Therefore, in this block, it has to be at the bottom. There's a 4 up there, so that cancels this one. So this one becomes a 4. Now, what are the ramifications of that, if any? Yes, there are ramifications. Right, center, this block has to have it in the left, so this becomes a 4. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Any ramifications of that? Well, we'll see. No, I think we'll leave it at that. 5s. 5s down in here are all done. 6s. There are no 6s. 7s, the 7s are all done. Bottom, top, middle. 8s. Yes, we can do something with the 8s. We have a top, a bottom. Over here it has to be in the middle, and this is the only place it can go. Now, what's the ramification of that 8? Well, I'm going to try the cross technique with the 8. Let's see what happens. Go up here. We're going to look at this block here. This block here. If this is an 8, those 3 cells can't be an 8. If that's an 8, these 3 cells can't be an 8. So you go up and across. That's the only place an 8 can go. Very good. Now, having put that 8 in, what are the ramifications? Let's go horizontally as well as vertically. I'm going to do, we'll do vertically first. We'll do it, an 8 could be there, or an 8 could be up there. Any ramifications of that? No. But let's look at this one. Go horizontally. Top, bottom, middle. There's an 8 over there. What's the ramification of that 8? Anything? We have a center, right, left. So that was good. Just because we discovered this 8, look where it went. It took us to several other numbers and small numbers. Both looking in both directions, vertically and horizontally, and using the cross technique here in this block. 9s. Well, now here's something. If I'm going to use the cross technique, if I take this 9 and go down, that gets rid of that 9. If I take this 9 and go across, that gets rid of this 9. Can't be there or there. Therefore, the only 2 spaces a 9 can go is there. And that's important, because what that does is that if the 9 can only go there in this block, and we have a 9 up here, we have a left, we have a right, the 9 in this block has to be in the center, and that gives us, believe it or not, a matching pair. Really interesting. Now I think we're ready to go. And how far did we did the 8s here, 9s. Well, that didn't help there, but we did notice it's up there. Now we can do the vertical blocks. 1s. Well, we know for a fact that the 1 is going to be in here somewhere. 2s. Here's something interesting. We only have 1, 2, but if I look at this center block here, the 2 in this block can only go there or there, and that's important to remember. We can also look at this block, seeing there's only 2 left in it, really. This is called a technique called a matching pair plus 2. If you have a matching pair and there's 2 cells left in that block, or row or column, what's left in here becomes also a matching pair. Very important little technique to understand that. So what is missing then? Let's go through it. 1, 2 is missing, 3, 4. 4 is missing in this block. So that means that this can be a 4 and this can be a 4. Now what's the ramification of that? Well, we have a 4 down here. So that means that this becomes a 2 and this becomes a 4. Now let's look at the ramifications of those 2 new numbers. Let's take the 2 first. 2, 2, there's a 2, 9, 2, 9, and it is a matching pair. So we have a 2, 9, 2, 9 there, and the 4, let's look at the 4. 4, 4, well, all the 4s are there. But now I want to show you a new technique, which is a little bit more advanced as we push along in these newsletters. In this block here, we have a matching pair plus 2 left over. Notice that? A matching pair plus 2 left over. We can work out what those 2, what's supposed to go in here very easily, and believe it or not, it always, I'll repeat, it always means it's going to be another matching pair like we had in here. This is the matching pair. Let me go through to show you how it works. 1, 2, 3 is missing, so we could have a 3 here or a 3 there. 4, 5, 6 is missing, so we could have a 6 here and a 6 there, and now we've got a matching pair, and that enabled us, because of 2 left over, to have another matching pair. Now let's look at those numbers that we just put in. We look up here, there's a 3 there, so we can't have a 3 there, so this becomes a 6. This becomes a 6, and this becomes a 3. Now that's a very important little technique to watch for. If you have a matching pair in a row, column, or block, and there's just 2 cells left, that's what you can do. Now, what does that mean? It means that, let's take the 3. 3, 3, the 3 could be in here or here. What about the other number, which was a 6? A 6 can be here, here, or up in here. So we now have an interesting situation. We have another matching pair in here, because when I look at this, 6, 6, it has to be in there somewhere. Now let's see, with the 5s we've already done. We did the 4s. The 5s are done. The 6s now are done. The 7s, we have a center, a right, and a left, so it's a 6, 7 matching pair. And guess what we've got over here? We have a matching pair with 2 empty cells. What are the numbers that are left in here? It's going to be a matching pair. Let's see what it is. We'll go through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is missing. So watch what happens. Matching pair 3, 8. Now, we have an 8 here. So we immediately, because we knew that little technique, know that that becomes a 3 and this becomes an 8. Now we look for the ramification of that. If that is an 8, we have an 8 here, middle, top. Over here it has to be in the bottom. This becomes an 8. Why? Because on this could be there or there, but there's an 8 down in here. So that means that this becomes an 8. Right there. And we can get rid of that 8 up there. So that was very handy. Knowing how to watch for and spot a matching pair with 2 empty cells in that same block, row or column enables us to get another matching pair, and in so doing we got all these extra numbers. Very, very important little technique. Now let's look at what we've got left. We did the 7s in here. Now the 8s are all there, and the 9s, 9, we have 9s down here, 9s in here, and that 9. Well, the time may come when we can work out what's going to happen here. Which reminds me, we've done the vertical columns here, and I have noticed that in this row here we have 2 numbers missing. Let's put them in. You never know what we may find. And I think it's a 2, 1, 2. Yeah, we'll put it in a 2. And the other one will be a 1, 2, 3. So we now have a 2, 3 matching pair. What do you notice? We have a matching pair and 2 left over. Let's see what those could be. You never know. Let's work it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is missing. So we can put a 6 in here. 7, 8, and a 9 is missing. 6 and a 9. Does that help? We don't know. We'll have a look. 6 and a 9. Do we have a 6 and a 9 along here? No. Do we have a 6 and a 9 along here? No. Do we have a 6 and a 9 up in here? No. 6 and a 9 up in here? No. Don't worry about it, but at least we now know what possible numbers can go in there, and I've underlined it because that's the only 2 numbers that can go there. Now, we were doing the vertical columns here. Vertical blocks as well. Now we're going to do the vertical blocks here. Let's see what we can find. Okay, we have the 1s already. Left, center, and right. 2s. Well, we could have a 2 here and here and here. Too many cells. Let's leave it. 3s. Well, we have a 3. Only 1 3. It could be all over the place here. 4s. 4s are already there. 4, 4, 4. 5s are already there. We did them earlier. 6s. Well, we could have 6s all over the place. Leave that. 7s. So we could have several 7s. 7s could be, can't be here, but it could be up there, one of those 2. There's nothing up here, it could go in several spots. 8s. 8, 8, 8. They're done. 9. We have no 9, so now what do? We look for rows, columns, and blocks with only 2 cells left. Well, here's one over here. What's left there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 2, 7. Well, that's interesting. 2, 7. What does that mean? Well, it means that we can solve this whole row. Down here we have a 7, so this becomes a 2. You may have seen that before I got to it. If you did, great. Here we have a 7. Super. Anything else with only 2 left in it that we can work on? Well, 2929 here. I'm just looking carefully to see if we've got something with only 2 left. Yes, we have a column, and you may have seen that before, and I didn't see it. This column has only got 1 left. Let's have a look and see what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a 9. Well, that'll help us. If that's a 9, well, one of these could be a 9. One of those could be a 9. Did it help us? One of these up here could be a 9. This could be a 9. Well, this could be a 9. But we can't underline them because there could be one more number in there that can go. Now, I looked at this, by the way. I didn't see this. Here is a 4, 4, 4. So this becomes a 4. That'll help us. If this is a 4, what's the ramifications? And this is a 4, left, center, this becomes a 4. If this is a 4 and that's a 4, bottom, middle, top, that can't be a 4 there because of that 4, so this becomes a 7 and this becomes a 4. So we've got some solving done there. That becomes your 7. Whoops! No, it doesn't. I was wrong. 4, 4, 4 was already in there. My apologies. I missed that one. Did you pick up that mistake? Good. If you did, we'll leave it. Leave it. We've already got the 4s. Wakey, wakey. Let me see now. In this row here, we've only got 1 left. Drop the eraser. What's missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a 9. What does that do? Let's have a look. Here we have a 9 on the right. Here we have a 9 on the left. The 9 has to be in the middle up here. So we can put a 9 in there. And now we can rub this 9 out. So we're left now in this block with only 2 cells. And what is the numbers? Let's see. 1, 2. It's a 3 that's missing. Let's put a 3 in here. But before I even underline them, I've already noticed that there's a 3 here. So this becomes a 1. And this becomes a 3. So we finished that block. And now we've only got 2 left in here. If that is a 6, 7, we know that this has to be a 6, 7. Very important. Now, let me see now. If there any, oh yeah, here's a column that's only got 1 left, and it can't be a 1 because we've already got a 1. So what is it? 1, 2. It's a 2. That's going to be very powerful. Way to go. 1, 2. Yes, it's a 2. So we put the 2 in. What's the ramification of that? Watch this. Over here. Where this becomes a 9. And this becomes our 2. And what are the ramifications of that? Let's look. This 2, it fits in. But because we put that 9 in, this cancels that 9 out. That becomes your 6. And this becomes your 9. So we're now left with just 2 left in that block. Let's check that. Bottom, top, middle. 2, bottom, top, bottom, middle. That's all looking good. That's looking very good. Okay, now because of that 9, does that help us? No, not yet. Let's have a look else, see if there's anything else. 6, 7, 6, 7. I'm looking for something with only a matching pair with 2 left or something like that. 3, 2, 3. Oh, here we are. Isn't it easy to miss? You probably were seeing that and saying, hey Robin, don't you see that? There's a bottom row with one number left. If you did that and you were like that, fantastic. If you're doing a puzzle with a friend, they do the same thing to you. Don't worry. So what's missing in here? It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that's going to be helpful, because if that's a 6, look up here, there's no 6 in here, so we've only got 2 left in here, but this becomes a 6, because we have a center, left, right. Now this block has only got 2 left. This column has only got 2 left. This column has only 2 left. So we're really going to start to see things happening now. Let's look at this carefully. If this was, let's take this block. We're missing a 1. We're missing a 1 and a 2. Is that correct? 1 and a 2. Well, immediately before I go any further, if we're missing a 1 and a 2 in here, this then has to be the 2, because you can't have 2 2's in this column. Therefore this becomes the 1, and if this becomes a 1, that cancels out this 1, and this becomes your 1, which completes that column. Way to go. Now we've got another column here and a row. You can do it both ways. You can either do the block, the column, or the row to work out what's left in here. Let's have a look. I think it's a 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 is missing. We can check ourselves by doing 3, 3, 3, or we can go, let me see, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can go down here, count, make sure there's no repeated numbers. Once you find a repeated number, boy, is it ever hard to find where you made your mistake. Sometimes you'll get to the very end of a puzzle and suddenly you got a repeat number. When you've got to that stage, you've got several choices. You can rub it all out and try again, or you can try and work out where you made your mistake, or you can say, well, there's another puzzle, plenty of them around, I'll try another puzzle, and just accept it that, hey folks, you can miss out things, you can make mistakes. The key is that you'll notice that every now and then I'm checking to see that there is no repeated numbers by going through 1 to 9. Now, because we put this 1 in, this becomes a 9. And because we put that 9 in, this becomes a 1. Let's check that out. Right, center, left, left, center, right. So that was good. And we can push on. Let me see what else is missing. Yes, look, in this row here, we only have 1, 2. We have a 2 missing, which makes sense. Top, middle, bottom. And maybe you may have seen that before I did. If you did, fantastic. But what is the ramification of that? Have a look here. That 2 cancels out this 2. That becomes a 3. And this becomes a 2. Now, what's the ramification of that? 2, 2, 2. Yeah, that's right. 3. Well, this has to be a 3. Or does it? No, no, it doesn't. No. We have a 3, a right, a left, a center. Well, now the rule is if it's a 6, 7, 6, 7, we've already got a 3 on the top. This will have to be a 3. Right, left, center. So this becomes your 3. And we're making some good progress now. Now this is interesting. Here we have 2 cells left. And here we have 2 cells left. And in each case, it is a 6, 7. Very interesting when you see that. But let me tell you, if they're in a rectangle, you're in trouble. It's either a poor puzzle or you've made a mistake. But if they're not in a rectangle, those 6, 7s, then you know you're on the right track. When I put that 6, 7 in, what did I notice? Well, you may have noticed it already. That 6 cancels out, this 6 down in here cancels out that 6, so that becomes your 7. Here we go, we finally solved these 2 7s sitting over here. And this becomes the 7. Now that works, right, center, left, and we've only got 1 cell left in there, and it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it is a 9, and if we'd have gone across here we would have realized that too. So that's a 9, and that's completed this column. Wow, if that's a 7, the ramification of that 7 being there means that this is a 6, and therefore this is a 7, and this is a 6. And I think that's done the puzzle for us. Well done everybody. I hope you've learned something from this puzzle. Lots of little techniques and little procedures that you watch for and spot, and it's easy to miss. But through checking and as you go through, you'll suddenly find what you've missed, and that's okay. It happens to everybody. But one most important thing I wanted you to pick up on this particular newsletter is when you have 2 cells left in a row, column or block and one matching pair, those 2 cells left become another matching pair. So that's it for this session. Looking forward to next month where we got even more things to show you. Bye for now.